Shalom, shalom. Israel's brothers Abba Yahweh coming back at you with another cold cut. I'd like to give all honor and glory and praise to Yahweh in the name of his son Yahweh Shai. We're going to hop right into it. There's a famine coming. As we know in the fourth seal, a famine is a very big, significant prophecy that the Lord prophesies of all throughout the scriptures. And we can't forget about all those things that took place in the recent years. All those animals that was dying mysteriously. Bill Gates buying up all the damn farmland across the country, acting like nobody would know. Mysterious barn fires, mysterious damn corporation fires. Purdue, damn Tyson's chicken nuggets just having this mysterious fires all around the damn country, all around the world, killing hundreds of millions of animals, thousands of animals. This all is going to take place and have a rolling effect in the days to come. Can't forget about these things that's been happening in times past, the judgments of the Most High he's been doing, not just today, not just yesterday, but from years ago. That's all going to play an effect in the famine that's going to come. It says hundreds of thousands of animals perished in barn fires last year. In early January, AWI once again reported on the number of animals killed in barn fires across the United States for the preceding year. In 2021, more than 681,000 farm animals are known to have suffered horrific deaths in these incidents, bringing the total number of farm animals killed via fire in the last 2 years alone to a staggering 2.3 million. So in 2021, even in these last 2 years, 2.3 million animals died in this country. That's a lot of animals. There's a lot of restaurants, a lot of food production facilities, a lot of grocery stores that's not going to have, these animals rolling through, and then it all goes down to the consumers buying these things. So then prices in turn go up. Right? When quantities are low, prices tend to go up, and demand is high, right? And it says, as we have indicated before, these numbers, shocking as they may be, likely fail to represent the full scale of the problem. And so these numbers maybe it's ballparked. Maybe it may be larger than what they're saying. It may not even be 2.3 million. It may be 10 million. It says, as we have indicated before, these numbers, shocking as they may be, likely fail to represent the full scale of the problem. Fire departments and municipalities are not required to report fires to the U.S. Fire Administration, as even when they do, they don't acknowledge animal deaths. Wow. Right? Our tallies of such deaths, therefore, must come from local media reports, which almost certainly do not include every bonfire across the nation that involves animal morality. Yeah, so there may be 13, 14, 15 million that may die in the last year. They're only going off of news reports. They can't even, not every animal fire or animal death is even reported. So who knows how many animals has been killed all the way up into this, so-called 2025 year, right? And it says, of the 113 fires tracked by AWI in 2021, the greatest number for the second consecutive year were reported in New York, 14, and Pennsylvania, 13. These were followed by Iowa, 9, and Michigan, Ohio, and Minnesota, 8 each. Fires of industrial scale, concentrated animal feeding operations, CAFOs, account for most of the deaths. Consistent with previous years, the overwhelming majority of farm animals killed in fires were chickens. And Jake loved chicken, right? Jake loved chicken. I know I do. As in 2020, the 3 largest fires last year involved egg-laying hens in massive, cage-free, but still overcrowded facilities. Collectively, these 3 incidents took the lives of 433,000 hens, of nearly 64% of the reported number of animals killed in bonfires in 2021. And that was 2021. It is 2025. How many millions in deaths of animals have happened since then? So let's get the precepts. Let's get the precepts. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel 14 and verse 13. The Lord prophesies of famine as a judgment that happens on the earth. And these things are going to happen to Babylon the Great, the worst. This is Ezekiel 14 and 13. Son of man, when the land sinneth against me by trespassing grievously, then will I stretch out my hand upon it, and I will break the staff of the bread thereof, and will send famine upon it, and will cut off man and beast from it. Right? And that's happening right now. See, the Lord's judgments are little by little. And you're going to start seeing the effects of these judgments. The Lord can easily just kill every animal across America and, it'll be that. But the Lord's judging this nation slowly but surely with all these bonfires, all these animals dying. You can't forget about the imports and the exports that's going to be shut down in this country. America moves in the spirit of Tyre and Zidon, moving things in and out this country, right? Different animals and different foods and ingredients and spices that they get from all around the earth. The Lord's going to break the staff of bread. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 18. The Lord talks about the merchants of America. All right, it's Revelation chapter 18. And let's start at verse 12. Verse 11. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. Because America is the world's number one consumer. Is the world's number one consumer, right? With a lot of imports that come into this country. And it says the merchandise of gold, i.e. the tariffs as well. They even mention the tariffs. Taxing everything that comes into this country. Food, spices, right? And it says the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all fine wood and all manner of vessels of ivory and all manner of vessels of most precious wood and of brass and iron and marble and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil for cooking, wine, drinking, fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. So this is your food right here. All of that food coming in and out the country, all them farm, the Lord's going to shut all of this down. And we can't be forgetful of that. We cannot be forgetful of the Lord's judgments. Let's go to the book of Lamentations, chapter 4 and verse 9. All right, Lamentations, because Americans live a sedative lifestyle. You know, you can go out at 12:03 a.m. and go get you a taco from a taco truck, right? You can go out and just go get to the bar and go get some drinks and some bar food. You can damn near get anything you want at any point in time in this place. So when the Lord shuts this place down, how much worse shall it be? This Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 9. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field. You pining away, your body slowly corroding into damn bone, man. The Lord says better to die by the sword than to pine away with hunger. Slow death. Right? Verse 10, the hands of the pitiful woman have saddened their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people. What does that mean? The hands of the pitiful woman have saddened their own children. Yeah, sadden means to boil. These women, it's going to come to a point in time in this country where these women in the world not protected by Yahweh Shem Yahshua that got children, they're going to be boiling them. Stovetop. They're making fires and killing your children, chopping off legs and feet. You know, the Lord said they were their meat. That means those children was their meat in their destruction of the daughter of my people. And this is going to happen all over again. Let's get some more on another article. You can't forget this. If you forget this, you can't forget these judgments and prophecies. This is a year ago, and it was a big thing, and now all of a sudden nobody's talking about it. A year after the Baltimore Bridge collapse, a long road to recovery is ahead. Yeah, that Baltimore Bridge was a very famous and known bridge for bringing imports into this country, food, medicine, especially medical supplies, and that mysteriously it just collapsed with a ship. And if you've seen the video, it looked kind of weird, but hey, that we all know it's the Lord's doing, right? And it says, a year after the catastrophic collapse of Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge, Maryland leaders are honoring the 6 construction workers who were killed when the road they were repairing buckled underneath them. Police were able to stop traffic moments before a cargo ship plowed into the bridge, but they didn't alert the road crew in time. Right? And it says, and this is the bridge, right, that the Lord overthrew. See that? Everyone working on the scene shared that same priority. Those men we lost in the water, Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott said during an anniversary ceremony Wednesday, recalling the horror that followed the collapse, the king of terrors that took over, man. Judgment to the Most High. You cannot forget these judgments. This displays a significant, role, like I said, in bringing things in this country that, Babylon uses, that we use. All right. And it says, let me jump down. Just last week, federal investigators criticized the Maryland Transportation Authority for failing to address the bridge's vulnerability. Salakia. Where were we at? Let's get back to it. Just last week, federal investigators criticized the Maryland Transportation Authority for failing to address the bridge's vulnerability to ship strikes despite major changes in maritime shipping since it opened to traffic in 1977. So this bridge, the Francis Scott Key Bridge, been in this game for a minute now, since 1977. And then guess what? Esau's wise men that's supposed to oversee this failed. Failures. Losers. Damn, what other word? This disappointing. Can't do their job. They failed, right, to address the bridge's vulnerability to ship strikes. And that's the Lord. Read Isaiah 19:15. That's the Lord overthrowing Esau's wise men. That's the Lord overthrowing these men that claim to and boast to know everything about this earth and transportation and different charts. And hey, guess what? The Lord got them erring in every work in these last days. Right? So we can't forget about this bridge. We can't forget about how important, how significant the destruction of this bridge. And it's not, the Lord's not going to resurrect this bridge and imports come in twice fold and build it back up. This thing is done. Long road to recovery. It's done. Let's get another one. Let's see something. Is there a shortage of truck drivers? Yes, there is a shortage of truck drivers in the United States, and it's a significant issue impacting the supply chain. What is the supply chain? Things that come into this country, exports turn into America importing them into this country on shipping docks and containers. Those containers are then picked up by who? By truck drivers. Those truck drivers drive it to a local distribution facility. Distribution goes to damn food production facilities. Food production goes to grocery stores, right? They got contracts and things like that, bringing it to grocery stores. And then you as the consumer, right, goes to these grocery stores and you buy these things and you bring it to your home. The Lord said, not the Lord, Google said, guess what? That's a supply. That's how it disrupt the supply chain. If you need truck drivers to transport your food, you need these men that do hours over the road, transporting different local, grocery store supplies, food production, supplies, things like that consumers in America need. And guess what? There's a shortage of truck drivers. So the Lord is dealing every which way to shut down this country and ultimately bring a famine to it slowly but surely. And if you're not recognizing what the Lord is doing, if you're not really marking and recalling the plays and the judgments the Lord has been doing and executing them and forget, then, you're essentially just sleeping, because all these prophecies have to hit, and we have to see how the Lord is doing it. Let's get a precept. All right, let's get a precept. Let's go to the book of Luke chapter 21 and verse 11. All right, this is the book of Luke chapter 21 and verse number 11. And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines, and pestilences, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven. So the Lord said famines will be hidden. Famines will be happening. That is a big prophecy in the scriptures. Let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 18. 2nd Ezra chapter 16 verse 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. For the beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. And these things are going to be sent as whips, scourges, correction. But what? But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. And they're not going to know what's going on. The inhabitants of Babylon the Great is going to chuck it up to politicians, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. Taxes, they're going to blame the hell out of Trump and these tariffs. They're not going to chuck it up to Yahweh in the name of his son Yahweh Shai that's correcting this nation through chastisements, and they're not going to get it. So their wickedness is going to fill up, and they're going to have to drink of that cup. Right, verse 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And if you somehow escape the famine, you got a bunker, you got all these canned goods stacked up, rice, and you think you good and you can escape the famine. Guess what? The Lord said he'll kill you with the sword. Stop playing with Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Like, he's not going to do that to you. You can't escape the judgments of the Most High. Let's go to Amos chapter 5 and verse 18. You cannot escape the judgments of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua. It's Amos chapter 5 and verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. As if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand upon the wall, and a serpent bit him. Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it? And guess what? Yeah, you fled from a lion. It's really hard to flee from a lion. But let's say you managed to barely escape from a lion. A bear meets you, 42 feet, running damn 16, 17 miles per hour. You're not getting away from that. But let's say somehow, some way, you got away from this bear and this lion, and you went into the house. You think you're safe, and then you leaned your hand upon the wall. Whew, man, that was crazy. I wish that was on video. Man, I got away from a lion and a bear. One day, I must be the part of the elect. And guess what? A serpent got you, and now you out this thing. That's how these judgments are with the Most High. You manage to get past one or two judgments. That third one is going to be one that come and kills you. So we got to watch. We have to watch what's going on. And you have to continue to be prepared and prepare your mind for these prophecies and get your house in order, get ourselves in order, and patiently wait for the second coming of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. The second Ezra chapter 14 and verse 13. Now therefore set thine house in order and reprove thy people and comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. Let go from the mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. And you're gonna see greater evils. When people are hungry and people they don't have any food for their children, you're gonna see greater evils. You're gonna see people's true spirit come out of them. People are gonna be cussing out the Most High. Right? Let's go to Isaiah 8 and 20. You have people really cursing God. These people that they thought they were devout Christians for 30 years, let their stomach rumble for more than 36 hours. Oh yeah, they're gonna cuss out the Most High. They're gonna cuss out that church they've been going to and they pastor. It's Isaiah 8 and 21. And they shall pass through it, hardly be stead and hungry. And it shall come to pass that when they shall be hungry, they shall fret themselves and curse their God, curse their king and their God, and look upward, man. Yeah, people get irritable when they're hungry. Right? You call it, the people in the world call it hangry. But guess what? When you ain't eat for 4 days and you don't have Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you're gonna be cussing out the government, cussing out the Most High. But the elect will eat in those days. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 65. The elect, right? If you are part of the elect, if the Lord counts you worthy, you will be able to eat and drink. It's Isaiah 65 and 13. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, behold, my servants shall eat, but you shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but you shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but you shall be ashamed. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but you shall cry for sorrow of heart and shall howl for vexation of spirit. So make sure we continue to watch, keep these commandments in faith and hope, and have praise for Yahweh in the name of Son Yahushua. With that, I'd like to bid a mighty strong shalom.